In today's video, I'm going to speak about all the questions that arise whenever we talk about Shradh. Specifically, when do we do Shradh? How do we do Shradh? Why do we do Shradh? And how to do Shradh yourself. जो बहुत श्रद्धा से किया जाता है उसे श्राद्ध कहते हैं. Shradh is a profound act done with a lot of sincerity and gratitude towards our ancestors. It is an act of utmost sincerity and devotion towards your ancestors, or Pitri as we call it in Sanskrit. The word Pitri in Sanskrit translates to ancestors who had come together so that you could be born today. Pitri includes both sides of the family, the mother's side as well as the father's side of the family. Pitri also includes everybody in your genealogical chain from the time humans came on earth. And for Hindus, it also often includes everybody that is included in your Gotra. According to Hindu scriptures, Hindus carry, or any person born on earth, any human carries 3 types of debt. These debts are Pitri Rin, Dev Rin, and Rishi Rin. Pitri Rin is the Rin of the ancestors, which means the debt of the ancestors. Rishi Rin is the debt of wise men, or men who have contributed in the growth of humanity. Dev Rin is the debt to the gods who look after us and our well-being, and our planet and the universe. There are many reasons to perform Shradh. One of the main reasons to perform Shradh is to express our thanks to all the ancestors because of whom we exist today. It is a sincere act of gratitude towards those because of whom we are existing on earth today, because of whom we have the chance to be born and to live this life as a human. We also perform Shradh to help our ancestors, those who died without fulfilling their desires. There are many desires that go unfulfilled in one human's lifetime. Many of our ancestors may have died either without water or food or even money. Whatever plagues them often stops them from merging into the light of God. A lot of times we do this so that they are able to merge with God. We aim to satiate the needs of our ancestors through Shradh. We give them offerings of water, of rice, of black sesame seeds, some money, and any other thing that you think is appropriate. When we make such offerings, we often ask our ancestors to give their love and blessings to us. Many people perform Shradh to get rid of afflictions that affect them presently, specifically those relating to relationships, to health, and to wealth. The logic behind performing Shradh is based on the fact that we as humans, as individual humans, inherit everything from our ancestors. And this not only includes the physical body, but also the mind and the soul. It is very easy in one human to find out from whom they have inherited, let's say, their eyes, or the nose, or the smile, or the hair. So your eyes may belong to your maternal grandmother, your smile may belong to your paternal grandmother, your cheeks or your cheekbones may be your grandfather's. You might have the skin color of somebody else in your family. Similarly, often our mindsets and also our diseases can be pinpointed to one or the other ancestors who were before us. It is very easy to find out from whom we have inherited our physical qualities. But it is often difficult to find out whom we have inherited, and often people do not know that the mind as well as the soul and the habits of the soul are inherited from our ancestors. Modern science, eugenics, and epigenetics has made a lot of progress to determine which gene causes which problem or defect in the body. While they have done that, and they know the genes that cause negative issues in our body, there is no answer as to why these genes get triggered and cause these effects. Since genes can both be negative and positive, Hindu sages long ago taught us how to honor and worship these ancestors so that we can only inherit the positive things from their lives and seek the blessings of our ancestors and not the diseases and the problems. While Shradh can be done all year round, Hindu scriptures say that the best time to do Shradh is during the Pitru Paksh. In Sanskrit, Pitru Paksh means the fortnight of the ancestors. It is believed that for 15 days our ancestors come down to the earth plane to take a look at us and to see how we are faring. They also come to take offerings from us. Pitru Paksh starts on a Purnima or the full moon night, and it ends on a new moon night or a no moon night called Amavasya. The Amavasya is called Mahalay or Sarvapitri Amavasya. It is to be noted that according to scriptures, 15 nights of a Paksh or a fortnight of human days is equal to only one day of the Pitri Lok. An interesting question that arises is, for how many generations of ancestors should you do Shradh? The answer to this lies with the individual. A minimum of 7 generations should be honored in Shradh. You can go up to 12 generations, 15 generations, and some people also like to go to the time when their Gotra was established or to the time when humanity began. If we take a look at just 12 generations, and as much as 8,000 people come only in the vicinity of 12 generations of Shradh. I'll give you an example. Let's say there is a person X. Now for person X to be born, there has to be 2 people who came together. One, the father, and the second, the mother. Now for each of the parent, the father and the mother, 2 more people had to come together, their parents. So we have 4 people who came together. Then for those 4 people, we had 8 people each who came together. Then we had 16 each who came together. We have 32 each. We have 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, and by the time you reach the 12th generation, you have 2048 people. Now, if you just add up these numbers, you will get approximately a total of 8,190 people. So in just 12 generations, there were 8,190 ancestors who had to come together so you could be born. And this is the main reason that we do Shradh, because we don't know which one of these ancestors is still unhappy or died without water, food, or money, or whatever afflicted them. And it is for these ancestors that we worship and pay our homage to. Anybody, any human, can perform the rites or the act of Shradh towards their ancestors, be it a man or a woman. Yes, women can do the act of Shradh as well. Don't women feel the sincerity towards their ancestors? I myself am a woman and I have been doing Shradh regularly. It is not necessary that I always have to go to a Brahmin or a Pandit to do so. Having learned the scriptures and learned from other gurus, I am able to perform Shradh myself. And in this video, I'm going to show you how anybody, whether they are born Hindu or not, can do Shradh for their ancestors. The act of giving offerings to your ancestors is called tarpanam. For this video, I have kept the tarpanam to a very simple level that anybody can follow. And the process begins like this. First, mentally pray to your ancestors and tell them that you honor and respect them and that you're grateful to them for your existence. Second, take some rice, black sesame seeds, water, coin, or anything that you wish to give your ancestors. Put all of it in your palm and let your ancestors know that you're making these offerings to satiate their unfulfilled desires and that they please accept these offerings. Then you take these items in your palm and pour water on it. Here, a point to be noted is that the water and offerings should flow out between the gaps of your thumb and your first finger. While calling the ancestors to come and accept the offerings, your prayer should go like this. I call upon all ancestors from my mother's side, from my father's side, all ancestors from the side of my spouse, if you have one or even if you had one, all ancestors known and unknown to me, all Pitrus or ancestors who do not have any descendants, all Pitrus or ancestors whose descendants have forgotten them or whose descendants do not do Shradh, all friends who have passed on to the other side, the souls of all animals who died feeding me and my family directly or indirectly, the souls of all animals and birds that were either killed wittingly or unwittingly by me and the members of my family, living or dead. On 15th August 2020, many Hindus took a pledge to do tarpanam for the souls of all Hindus who were either killed or who committed suicide for following Hindu Dharma in the 1,000-year genocide. Those souls who gave up their lives but not their dharma, and because of whose sacrifices we are able to live as Hindus today. After saying this, you say, I bow to all of you. Please accept my humble offerings of food, water, and money. I am performing this act with all my sincerity and devotion. And in return, I only want your love and your blessings. For the purpose of Shradh, in this tray I have taken some black sesame seeds, some rice, some coins for money, Ganga Jal or the water from river Ganges, and some water. Now I'm going to show you how to do this ritual, and for the purposes of making this video, I am doing this ritual at home in a tray. You could do this ritual anywhere that there is a water and a drain. So what I'm going to do next is that in my right hand, I'm going to start taking some black sesame seeds and I'm going to place it in this location of my palm, which is the area between the thumb and the first finger. Then I'm going to take some rice. I'm going to take the coins. Now first I'd like to drop some Ganga Jal. And then this is how we offer tarpanam. Certain interesting questions arise when speaking of Shradh. One of those interesting questions is, what if your ancestors have taken birth in another yoni or even in the yoni of a human? Yoni is just a name to express the different types of life forms that exist on earth, which could either be human or be animal. The answer to this is that according to spiritual laws, our ancestors, in whichever body they are, whether human or animal, will get that kind of satisfaction as they would have got in their human body. So if you're offering them food, water, or monetary satisfaction, they would get it equally in their animal yonis as well. Just as when we send a money order to any country in the world, the currency is converted into the local currency and is then received by the receiver. This is how whenever we do tarpanam, our ancestors receive it, and it doesn't matter which yoni they are presently in. Another interesting question or doubt often arises, and that is, what if our ancestors, what if all our ancestors' souls have merged into the light of God and their soul no longer needs our offerings? In that case, whatever offering you have given to them is returned back to you for your benefit, just like a letter comes back to the sender when the receiver no longer lives at the address mentioned in the letter. Another interesting doubt I often hear is, how do we know that this is all true and that our ancestors are truly benefiting? To that, I would like to say that any time we create anything, be it artwork or even artificial intelligence, it is not possible that the created product is smarter than us in any way. Likewise, the Creator who has created us as well, and our gods, are inherently way more smarter than us, and they understand the language of emotions. The most important point to keep in mind is that when we communicate with our ancestors and when we communicate with God and the Devis and the Devtas, we do it via the medium of our emotions. And when we sincerely make offerings to them, they sincerely accept them. I hope with all of this, it is much clearer to you why Hindus perform the ritual of Shradh during Pitru Paksh. And it is not only during Pitru Paksh that you could perform the rituals of Shradh. Even in the Valmiki Ramayana, Raja Dashrath performs Shradh before the wedding of Lord Ram and his other brothers. Shradh is often performed before auspicious occasions like a Grih Pravesh or entering a new home or even a wedding. In the Valmiki Ramayana, Raja Dashrath says the following: Swasti prapnuhi bhadram te gamishyamaha swam alayam Shradh karmani vividvat vidhasya iti cha abravit. This translates to, enjoy that blessedness. Let safe betide you. We now depart to our visitorial palace, and we shall customarily carry out the tributary rituals. Dashrath said thus: Sa gatva nilayam raja shradham kritva vidhanatah prabhate kalyam utthaya chakre godanam uttamam. This translates to, as Raja Dashrath, on going to his visitorial palace, has procedurally undertaken the tributary rituals, and on getting up in the next morning, he carried out the initiatory rituals of marriages in a grand way, in which donations of cows is a part. When we read of such things, it becomes much clearer to us that Shradh is not only done during the time of Pitru Paksh, but is also done all throughout the year and specifically before doing anything auspicious. Like in the example shared with you, Raja Dashrath does Shradh to appease his ancestors so that the marriages of his sons goes very smoothly. And in this, he also donates 1 lakh cows for each of his sons to Brahmins. My name is NEENA Rai, and thank you for listening to me. Do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you're notified every single time a new video comes out. I only make videos when I have something interesting to share. Jai Shri Ram.